Odoo Live, and I'm Felix Yun, Marketing Officer here in Odoo. And today we have Nicholas, our Senior Sales Consultant, to tell you what you need to know when you start using Odoo. So this is like that's a 101 for you guys if you want to know more when you are choosing what system you are going to use for your company. So we will show you how to work with Odoo and start everything from scratch. So it will cost like 30 minutes and followed by a 20 minutes of Q&A session. So I will pass the time to Nicholas later, but at the meantime, you can drop your questions down below in the chat box. If you have any question, just raise it in the chat box. So let's get started because we have many to cover, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Let me show the screen to you. Okay.
Thanks, Felix. So just introducing myself, my name is Nicholas. I'm a senior business advisor at Odoo in Hong Kong. So what I do is I give advice to a potential customer on how to implement Odoo. So whether you're a new customer, you having a current ERP you want to migrate, whether you currently use Odoo and you want to upgrade, or whether it's the first time you use an ERP and you need advice. So I can help you analyze your requirements and how basically tell you how Odoo can help you on that. So the topic of the day is basically the Odoo 101, as Felix mentioned. So it's the best practice when you start with Odoo. So we're going to focus on the Odoo online version. However, most of the thing that I will mention is also applicable to the Odoo Enterprise version or the Odoo community. So the agenda of the day is I will do a quick presentation of Odoo, the company. And then we'll go through the Odoo 101 schedule. So I will show you how you get started with Odoo Online, so how to create a database, the different tools that you have. Then we'll go through the setup. There will be some importing and exporting tutorial. And then we will see the basic productivity app, such as the calendar, the email function. And it will go through a standard apps workflow, so CRM, sales invoicing, and then we'll do the Q&A. So about Odoo, so the Odoo company is based in Belgium, and we have 7 offices around the globe. I'm French, so for those who follow football, I'm in a good mood today. But the rest of the team is not in such a good mood. Sorry. So we have 3.7 million users around the globe, 32 supported languages, including Chinese, Spanish, German, Vietnamese. So there's a lot of few people who probably watch from Asia Pacific. So we have 7 offices in the US, in Europe for the headquarters, and the one in Hong Kong where we are doing this webinar right now. And we also have an app store of 16,000 add-ons, which make it the largest business app store in the world. So those add-ons can be used for you guys who use the on-premise version, but not on the cloud version that I'm gonna show you today. So we will not go through those. So Odoo is a suite of business apps. So there's one need, one software. So we have more than 46 apps and 472 of what we call modular extras. So the core apps are basically standalone apps, and the extra are basically features that you can activate in those apps. So you can build a website with e-commerce capabilities in Odoo. You can manage your sales, whether they are direct sales in the POS, B2B in the sales module, or having the e-commerce integrating into the website. You have finance, of course, with the bookkeeping, the expense management, the operation, which is really important for most business. So whether you're a service team, you want to manage projects, timesheets, for example, whether you're a stock management company or training, you have the inventory, production company with the manufacturing, and purchase for all of those. and as well as the marketing tools. To basically keep a good interaction with your customers. So marketing automation, mass mailing, event management, and finally we can also do customization. So the system might be suitable for most businesses in its standard version, but there's other businesses who wants to do customization. So there's possibilities whether you can do customization, whether you want to do customization on your own, or whether you need help from us or from our partners. So we won't go through that today, but if you have a question, you can ask or get back to me directly with the email I will provide at the end. In terms of services, so at Odoo, there's different services that we provide. So directly we provide a support and implementation service and training for the online version. But when it comes to the subscription itself, you have access to, on the cloud, unlimited hosting, bug fixing, access to the latest version, so updates. It's available on the apps, so iOS and Android apps. You have the 24/7 monitoring with automatic backups that we provide. We have live chat and email for support. And we also have extra support one-on-one directly from our office. So we can provide training, but you also have training which is available online through the tutorial that we have, and also through a video platform. We also have the possibility to provide implementation services. So through packs of hours, so you have a dedicated functional consultant which manage your project from the beginning until the production, and even after that if you need support. So you can schedule session with them. It's made of, you can use pack of hours, which can be used for anything I mentioned earlier: implementation, data import, training, and daily support. So the consultant can do the requirement analysis, create the database, data importation. So everything I'm going to show you today, you can even do it on your own, or you can ask us to provide the service directly for you. So this is a service that we propose in addition to the subscription. Okay. So again, I just want to precise: we only provide this service if you guys are interested in the online version, not if you want to use Odoo locally. In that case, you can deal with Odoo partners in your country. So you have a page on the website with the list of all those partners. But again, if you have some question, if you're not sure, we can discuss later on. Okay. So let's start and move to the demo itself. So what I'm going to show you is right from the beginning how to create an Odoo database on the cloud. So I'll go to the Odoo website, and what you can do here is to try the software. You get a 15 days trial. So that's how it starts in Odoo Online. You can create a database. You can use it for trial, and after 15 days, if you like the system, then you can contact us, and we will basically write a contract for you, and you guys can start the subscription. So I will just start with an app CRM today, and I will select the name of my company. So that's going to be the domain name of your database. So for example, I will call it Awesome Food. So it probably doesn't exist, so it's gonna just add a one awesome food one to the name. You can set your company size. This is just for reference only. It doesn't really matter. I'll just click here, and the database is gonna start and create itself. So it's gonna take a few seconds. One thing you need to remember is that you need to activate the database within the 4 hours. If not, it will be automatically deleted. So with a lot of customers which I contact, and they say, I don't understand, I had this database created yesterday. When I start, I want to go in the database again today. I don't have access to it, because you need to activate the database. It's for us to avoid spams, robots, database created by robots. So you need to click there, and then you need to activate it by through the email you will receive in your mailbox. So I'm gonna have one email here. I just have to click, And one thing we have new on the latest version is that you can add users automatically from the main screen here. So you can add your colleague. So for example, I can add Felix, put his name, so I think it's FYU, right, Felix, at odoo.com. And then we'll send them an email where they can create their accounts. So they just have to set their password, and they will be able to access the database. So I will send the invite, and the database will be created automatically. I mean, it will be validated because it's already created. So if I go there, I'll just refresh, and the database will be created. Okay. So the first one thing you need to understand, Odoo works by module. So modular apps, they are integrated with each other. So you can work with one module, for example, CRM here, or add more module immediately or later on. And once a new module is activated, it integrates with the existing one. So let's say, for example, I only use the CRM for now. The CRM allows me to manage my opportunity, but it doesn't allow me to create quotation or to create sales order. So if you want to do that, if you want to add the functionality to create quotation sales order, you need to activate the sales and invoicing app. So in order to do that, you can just go in the apps here, look for the module you're looking for. So either I can see it's right here, or either you can just search, or you can search by keyword here. So I can install my sales module. It will also install the invoicing because they are sisters apps, so they work together. And in 2 clicks, you can install a new apps, which will be integrated with the CRM. So you can activate all the apps during your trial if you want. And once you've finished your trial, then you can create a new database with only the apps that you want. There's one thing which is really important when you start, is if you want this database to be your production database, the one you will use with real data in the future, what I would recommend is to create a testing database. So you can activate additional apps to do some testing, see if you want to keep them or not, import some data, fake data, this kind of thing. So you can use a duplicate database to create fake transaction, but don't do that on your production database. However, if you do that, basically, for example, invoices, they will stay there for good. You'll be able to create credit notes, but it will always show on your report. So in order to create a duplicate, what I can do is go to my Odoo account here. Once it's done, I have 2 accounts, so I need to log out, and I will log in on my other account. So this is this one. Once you are in your odoo.com account, you'll be able to have access to your databases here. So I have several here, but most likely you will have one. And what you can do is click on Manage My Database, and you have different options. So you can duplicate a database with the same configuration, and basically I use it as a test environment. You can rename your database if you want to change the name. If I want to move it and change to Awesome Food to something else. You can create your own backups as well. So we provide backups, automatic backups, but you can always do manual backups. And you can set your domain names if you have. So you need to be an administrator in order to do that. The duplicate function is only available once you have a paid subscription. So it's not available for trial. So you can only do that afterwards, after you become a customer. So you can use those tools to help you manage your databases. Okay. So now let's move to the Awesome Food database again. What I'm going to show you is how you can set up your company information and how you can create new users. So in order to do that, you have to go to Settings. So you have different submenus here. So Users and Company, so we'll go through that. You have access to translation, so you can upload language packs, and each user can use a different language if they want. And you also have access to the general settings here. So in the general settings, I have access to all the apps which are installed in Odoo. So I can actually activate features, what we call the module, directly from here. So in the general settings, I can activate a multi-company feature, for example, so you can manage multi-entities in Odoo. You can use integration that we have with Google Calendar, Google Drive, etc. And then you can go through all the apps. So the CRM, there's nothing much in terms of add-on in the CRM, but you can add the leads step if you want. In the sales, there's a lot of things you can activate, which was not activated by default. If you want to activate a price list, for example, if you want to activate the pro forma step, pro forma invoice, different customer addresses, and you always have some recommendation in terms of app integration. So we have some apps to manage a shipment by DHL, USPS, UPS, FedEx, and bpost. So by clicking there, you can activate those, and they are integrated with the rest of the apps. Same for invoicing. You can set different currencies. So you have the multi-currency feature. So by default, it's going to be the currency of the country from where your database was created, but you can activate more and you can modify it if you want. So this is for the general settings. Now I will show you your company information. So by default, it created one company, which is the company name that you set when you created the database. Here I can set different information. First, I can set the logo. So do I have a logo here on my OneDrive? I think so. Oh, okay, it might be here. Yeah, I can set the logo. I can set the company address, website. I can set the tagline. The currency, the default currency is the same that we saw in the general settings, but you can modify it if you want. And those will be shown on the all the reports automatically. When you create a sales order, a quotation, you will have the address, the logo, and the company tagline. So that's for company. For users, you have access to the users that you have created. So myself, and also Felix, which I've created in the first in the welcome screen. What you can do with the user is also to manage the access rights. So let's say, first of all, you need to remember that I am the admin. So I have access to all the settings, I have access to all the user, I have access to all the user rights, etc. So let's say I want to manage all Felix access rights. So I go under his name. What I can do is give him access or restrict access to different apps. So, for example, I don't want him to have access to the settings or the access rights. So I can remove access here. I want to make it a manager in the sales module. So the manager is able to have access to reports, which the other user, the own document only, here is not able to do. So there's different level of users you can set. You have the same in the accounting. It can be a billing only, so someone is only able to create invoices or vendor bills, but are not able to see the company reports, financial reports. And the more apps you have, the more restriction you can do. So this is limited by level, so manager users. But you can go much further than that if you go in the developer mode of Odoo. So it's something you can activate in the settings. Then you have the possibility to create group of users more advanced. You can restrict the access to one menu in one app, or restrict to one button in one form if you want. So this is more advanced. This is something that we can help you configure with our consultant if you use the Odoo online version. So we've seen how to manage the access rights. Now I'm going to show you the basic productivity apps in Odoo. So the productivity apps are things that comes which are complementary. So you can see those here. When I've created the database, it came with the discuss, the calendar, and the contacts. So the discuss is email box, basically, where you can receive incoming and send outgoing emails. And it's also used for channels. So you can create discussions channels, internal with other Odoo users, or external as well. So by default in Odoo, you have an email server, outgoing and incoming email server, which is set by default. However, you can configure your own servers if you have. You can go in the settings and then you can configure. So you have to go in the developer mode as well, and then you can create your incoming and your outgoing servers. So you will receive the messages here. You can create private channels, give it a name, and you have a tool here which able to show you all the channels and all the messages you receive. So this is something we used a lot internally at Odoo, between employees, and also when we, as a salesperson, when I send quotation, when I sell sales order, and I receive email, I get all the information in the mailing box here. So that's for discuss. You also have the calendar here, which is integrated with Google Calendar. If you want to, you can activate the integration. It's also integrated in the CRM, so I can create a meeting from a CRM opportunity, and they will show here. So you can create meetings. It has the same feature than a Google or Outlook calendar, basically. You can add people, you can manage notification, and it's integrated with Google. So when you create things in Google Calendar, it will be synchronized in Odoo, and when you create things in Odoo, it will synchronize in Google Calendar. So it's very convenient to have everything in one app. And then there's the third app, which is for me is really cool and really useful. It's the contact app. So it basically stores all your database of customers, suppliers, and partners, for example, and also employees. So you have a different view. You have the Kanban view, you have the list view, and if I want to create a contact, I can just go there. I can create it manually. One thing you need to understand is because of the integration in Odoo, I can create a contact here from the contact app, but then it will be available everywhere. So it will be available in the sales module. It will be available in the project module if you use it, in the accounting. So let's say I create a company. So let's call it Belgium Post, for example. We have a web service which is able to give you, which is preloaded with companies. We can give you the contact detail of predefined companies. You can set the logo. So let's do another example, Belgium Digital, for example. So the logo is immediately imported. I have the website, I have the language. I just have to fill the address. Then I can set contact and addresses. So whether it's invoicing address, shipping address, private address, contacts, if I have different contact within this company. So you can manage everything here. You can set different information, a salesperson, you can set a price list, you can set a vendor, payment terms, customer or vendor payment terms, if you want. And then you have the smart buttons here, which will give you an history of all the information in the system about this customer. So the opportunities, the meetings in the calendar, the sales, and the invoices. So of course this is empty for now because I haven't created yet, but it will be filled with more information the more I go. Now I want to show you, I've shown you how to create a contact manually. I'm going to show you how you can import stuff in Odoo. So that's the second part of this webinar. So of course, if you have like 100,000 of contacts, you're not going to create them one by one. Same thing for products. So what you will most likely do is to import. So in Odoo, you can import almost anything with CSV and Excel files. So you just have to use this feature here, the button import. What we have is we have some Excel CSV template we can use. It's actually available from the CRM. You go in the CRM, you have this status bar here, which is a tutorial, which give you some, helps you make sure that your implementation is going well. So you can set your sales flow. You can set your incoming email server, and here you have access to some different information on customers. So it tells you, okay, you can either create the customer manually or you can import using templates. So the Excel template is actually here, and it's filled with several information to show you how to import data. So there's one thing which is mandatory. It's the ID. So ID is just to recognize the database entry in the system. So it can be anything. You can use the one on the template, or you can use your own ID. It's not considered as the customer reference internal. This is something that is just for the database record. So you can also add a customer reference if you want. This has nothing to do with the ID. So you have to set information about the name, about different things. All are not mandatory, but the more things you want to import, you can import the better. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm not going to use this template. I've created another template with more information. I'm going to show you the things you should not do and the things you should do. So when you go to contacts, you import. I'm going to load my file, which is here, for example. So the import templates. First, I'm going to do my customer, my contacts. We will go through the supplier later. So you import your documents, and then the system will map your columns to import, and will tell you if there's any error that block the import. So most likely here everything is fine. So I have the external ID, I have the name, I have a column which is not mandatory, but you can tell if the customer is active or not. There's something which are very important. Some things are some columns have to be filled with names. So others basically needs to respect a sequence. So if one of your contacts is a customer, you have to set the sequence 1, which basically means it's a customer. If it's not, you have to set 0. You cannot just put yes or no. You have to follow that sequence. If you do that, it's not gonna. If you put yes or no, it's not gonna work. Same thing for, I will show you later for product. Same thing for here if it's a company, because you can make the differentiation between company and contacts. So a contact can belong to a company or not, and a company can integrate several contacts. So let's say that I modify my templates. So it's here. I will modify one thing, my contacts. I will say there's also some field which are caps and spell. I mean, you have to check the right spelling and that the caps are respected. So for example, the language here. Let's say I do a typo and I put English instead of English, and I saved. I'm not going to be able to import, so I will have an error from the system. So if I go back here and I cancel and I re-import my documents, the system will warn me when I click on test import and it's going to be okay. To tell me the value English is not found because um, the the entry in the system must be set as English. So it's predefined answer for that field. So I'm not able to do that because of the wrong spelling. So if you modify this according to the warning from the system, everything will be just fine. Same thing, if your column have different name than the existing in Odoo, you'll be able to change it. If you said, for example, town on your Excel file instead of city, you can match manually the name of your column with the field in Odoo. So that's for the importing of the contact. It works the same way. It works the same way with product. It works the same way with suppliers, or even you can go further with, for example, a sales order, etc. Okay. So now that we've seen the import, I'm also going to show you the export. So if I want to create, for example, I'm going to go back in the contact. You can export stuff by going in the list view here. And for example, I want to export all the customer name. I'll just click on select all here, and I have the button action that shows up. So I can do different things. I can do a mass mailing. If you can send SMS, if you use an API connected to the Odoo API, and you can export. So you'll be able to export all the fields from Odoo, or you can just select the field that you want. Then you can export to CSV, Excel, and you can even save the field list as a memory, as a favorite, so that you don't have to do that all the time. So you can easily export, and then you can use the Excel file or CSV file to make some report that are not available in Odoo, for example. So that's for the export. You can do that in every list view, in every list view on every app in Odoo. Okay. So that's basically for the settings, the best practices. Now I'm going to show you a workflow very quickly because I think we are running out of time pretty soon. Okay, there's one feature I want to show you as well, which is really cool. Let's say you want to find a feature in Odoo, but you don't know exactly where it is. You can use the search engine. So let's say I want to search for price lists, for example. Okay, well, it's not activated, but like pipeline. So I can just search of it and have all the results that show up in the system. I can just click on it and I'll be redirected directly to my pipeline in the CRM. So this is very cool when you have a lot of apps. You want to search a feature or a form. For example, you want to search where I configure my purchase agreement. You can just type purchase agreement and go there. So we are in the CRM right now. So I'm just going to show you a basic workflow to show the integration between the CRM, the sales, and invoicing. So you start with the pipeline, which uses filters. So in every module in Odoo, you have the search bar with filters. You can play with the filters. So here the filters is on the pipeline of the current users. I can remove a filter. I can use the group information. I can use other filters I want to. So I'm going to create some data first. Let's say, okay, it's a new opportunity for a new customer. So I can either select an existing customer or create a new customer from scratch. So let's create a new customer. So for example, I'm going to set it to Google. So I can create on the fly and create an opportunity. Then let's create a second one for the existing customer. So I'll call it new sale to the Belgium Digital, and create it here. I can use the Kanban view to move the opportunity to one stage to another, but this is not really the topic of the webinar today. I'm just going to show you the filters. So let's say I want to filter by a company name. So here, for example, Belgium. I can search here by customer, and the system is going to filter on that customer. Then I can group by if I want to. Group by same thing by salesperson or by customer name, etc. And you can add those filter as favorites here. You can make them as default filters, and you can even share them with other users. So you have the list view as well. You can see some information. You can export with the action button. You can import if you want to import opportunities. You have different reports with graphs, with pivot table, and you also have the calendars with your activities. So let's go and follow up the opportunity, for example, for Google. So you can set information of the customer, and here you have the chatter, where you're able to send messages. So incoming messages, you're also able to receive messages from the customer. You can log notes with attachments. Here, send this. So this is just the notes, just for internal. You can schedule activities as well. So I can schedule a call that I have to do with this customer tomorrow, and it will create a reminder in the CRM, as well as on a new tool that we have since V11, which is here, the activities button here. So I can see if I have activities related to the CRM, related to the purchase module, which related to the manufacturing orders. So it uses filters. So I can click this and automatically see the action that I have to do based on those activities that I have scheduled. And then I can, send email, receive email, add followers, etc. Then I'm going to show you the integration with the sales here. So if I want to create a quotation, what I do usually, what you see here, a green button or the next actions that the system recommends. So most likely it's going to be a new quotation. You're going to win this opportunity, or you're going to lose this opportunity. So you can create a new quotation, and this is the integration. This is when the integration with the sales module comes. So now you're actually creating a quotation directly from the CRM, but this will be stored in the sales module. So I can create a quotation that will create a new product. So dev service, for example, with a quantity, a price 500 for 1 unit, but you can sell unit, you can sell hours, etc. And I can send it by email and send a PDF to my customer. So I can set the customer email address here, for example, and send my quotation by email. So the email will be here. The answer from the customer will be there as well if he answers by email. And I can confirm the sale and validate the sales order. I'm then able to create the invoice, and the information will be sent to the accounting. So just to show you what I did, if I go in the sales module, my sales order is already here. So I don't need to recreate in the sales module, it's completely integrated. And my invoice is also available in the invoicing here. So I have one invoice for Google, which is related to the sales order that I've created. So I can see, if I go to other information, I can see sales order 001. So that's basically a basic workflow in Odoo that shows the integration within all apps. So I think that's all for today. For me, we've been able to show you how to start with Odoo, how to set up your database, what are the things you should do, what are the things you should not do, and basically show you a basic workflow. So I guess it's time for questions, Felix, if we have any.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, Nicholas. Actually, we do have a few questions. First of all, we have a client here using Odoo on his local server, but he find no filter option in the employee app. But I think it is quite a. I believe I do have the answer for this
Okay.
because actually the filter button is kind of hidden in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if we
So-
jump to the one of our apps.
Well, one question is, does he use the community or the enterprise? 'Cause there might be some differences. But
Yeah.
if I activate the employee app, for example, so the employee directory here, it's true that by default the search bar is hidden. Some customers don't see it immediately, but it's actually there.
Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, in the beginning, actually, the filter button is hidden in the magnifier here.
Yeah. So in the
So-
employee, you have the filters. Sometimes it's like this.
Yeah,
So you don't see the filters, but you just need to click right here. So I don't know. Sometimes on some apps, it's basically hidden. Yeah. But it's gonna be there. So I'm not sure if you're using the enterprise version or the community. I'm not too familiar with the community. There might be a limited feature on the community on the employee. I don't believe so though, because the employee is very basic. So, but it's there, yeah.
Okay.
At least on the enterprise version.
Yeah. Please let us know if our answer helps you. And let's go to the second question. Like, hi all, do I have to install Ubuntu to use Odoo? Ubuntu is actually another software. It's actually Odoo is an integrated software. Actually, what we're using here when
But we use the online, so but
Yeah.
you can install Odoo on Ubuntu. You can install on Windows. So we can use different OS. But if you don't want to use a local installation, then I recommend to use the Odoo online. Then you don't have to install anything. It's just a matter of 2 minutes to create your database. So yeah, but I mean, if you go on the website, you have the installer for Ubuntu. So you just have to go. But this is gonna be the community version. So you go to downloads here, and then you have the download package for Windows, Ubuntu, and others. I'm not really familiar with the rest, but
okay. All right. Okay. The first question is: will there be any guides on the accounting app that you can sign for? Actually, if you want a demo, you can always schedule one with Nicholas. If
Yeah.
you're in APAC area, but if you're not, you can just go onto our website, and then there will be a button for schedule a demo in the front page. So
we have some
yeah.
documents online. If you go to odoo.com, in the documentation, so you see a lot of documentation which is available for free to read. So you go to so Odoo docs here, and then you see in accounting. There's a lot of documentation which was added recently in the last month. So this is for the latest version, V11. You can, if you use a earlier version, you can just modify and type and change the number here. You can just go to Odoo 10 or Odoo 9. So all the documentation is available here. We also have a online training platform which you can use. So the link is also available on the documentation page. Sorry. So where is it exactly? Yeah, the training center here. So it's e-learning platform with videos. There's a free trial with 7 videos which are available for free. But if you want to have access to the whole platform, then there's a fee basically. And the other option would be to contact us. We can provide implementation services that I mentioned. So there's different way. Either you want to have do the implementation yourself, then we have some documentation, or we can help you if you want.
Okay, so another question from Art. So does the app in Odoo have the capability to create custom fields without having to do any manual code customization?
Yes, so this is possible through the Odoo Studio app. So let me show you quickly. Where is my database? Yeah, here. So there's this toggle here, which is called Odoo Studio, which allow you, even if you're not a developer, to customize your system. So I'll just show you quickly. Let's say, as you mentioned, I want to add fields in a form. It's going to take me a few seconds, so this will take a few seconds to install. Let's say you want to add fields in the CRM in the contact form, for example. So you just go there. Odoo Studio is an interface. So it's not an app. You have basically, you can go to any screen and then activate it. So I will show you. Let's go to the customer here. And I want to add fields on the customer form. So what I do is I just click on Odoo Studio. It will add this interface where I have access to different fields that I can add just by dragging and dropping. So if I want to add a text field here, I can just do. And if you want to put, for example, the birth date, you can just do this like that. And in just few clicks, you have a new field which is available. So you can do the same thing in other views. You can add columns in the list view if you want. You can add some related fields between apps, one to many, many to one. So with Odoo Studio, you can do customization. We will release also a new version of Odoo Studio in V12, which is going to be even more powerful. You'll be able to modify your own reports by drag and dropping. So invoices, quotation, which right now is not possible, but it's going to be really, really great with the new version.
Okay. All right. And I guess this will be the final question that our client here is using another software for his online store. So can he link Odoo accounting and CRM to the website?
It is possible. I don't know exactly which connector, which platform you use. This is possible through the add-ons that we have in the App Store, which I show on my first slide, one of my first slides at the beginning. So we have an App Store, which is available here, and which allow you to add some connectors between Odoo and ecommerce. So those are developed by third party, not by us, by Odoo partners, by developers. I can see that I have one right now. So a connector between Odoo and WooCommerce.
Yep.
So this can be used, but as I mentioned earlier, it cannot be used on the Odoo online version because we only allow apps which are designed by our team, so not by third party. So this can be used on the on-premise version. So if you use Odoo on your own server. However, we have a new service which is also cloud-based, hosted by us. It's called Odoo SH. It's a different cloud, so it allows you to integrate those third-party apps, do your own customization, and just do your testing and just integrate them with Odoo. So this is not the same version that I showed today. It's another version. It's called Odoo SH. So if you want some information about it, you can contact me directly.
Okay. Any more question? Please type it in the chat box. So if you do not have any questions, so Nicholas actually covered pretty much about the basics about Odoo. Like he mentioned Odoo SH, which is going to be our webinar in August. If you want to know more what Odoo SH is, please stay tuned. And actually, somebody asked about things that's to customize your database or the field in your app. So and Nicholas told us that we have Odoo Studio, which is a really user friendly apps and interface for you. And it is going to be our webinar topic in the next Wednesday. So if you want to learn more about Odoo Studio, please be there. And so also we are going to talk about the community version versus enterprise version. As you know, that we actually have two versions of Odoo, which you can easily see on our website. But I don't think many of you guys out there know exactly what's the difference between community version and enterprise version. And we're going to have our accounting manager to talk about this in the future. So if you are late here, if you want to really watch this webinar, please do so. You can find the video in our channel, and please do leave a like and subscribe for more webinar. So thank you again for joining us. We will see you again in the next webinar. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.